currently on the way home from a meeting in Reading. I've got 25 minutes until my train, so I thought, why not go live and have a bit of a chinwag with some Bristol City fans that may be on YouTube at this time, may not be. We can talk about the Watford game, um, maybe some players that are going to return from injury post-international break. At the moment, there seems to be a little bit of hope about Jason Knight, maybe Campering as well, but I'm not 100% sure about what I've seen about Campering, whether he'll be back after the international break. And of course, the Watford game. I haven't done my match review of the Watford game yet. I might make a more official video on the channel if I get some time this week. I've got a lot of racing to do in the evenings, but I'll do my best. So yeah, the Watford game obviously started poorly. Looked much like the last two performances before it that we put together, really. Tanner obviously probably going to be blamed for the goal, but I think there was an element of fault in there from Ross McCrory as well. But after sort of 20 minutes in that game, we really lifted and raised our performance levels. Didn't look like a team that were dragged with injuries and really tired. So yeah, I think second half of the first half, that makes sense, split into two. We were a lot better. We still obviously have our injury crisis. I do hope that the club are doing, they're never going to release it to us. But I do hope that the club are, with the current injury crisis we have, are doing some work to try and learn from it at least, right? To understand, like, the way I would do it I wouldn't say exactly who I work for or what I do as a job, but the way I do it at work, a problem like this occurs is something I would be tasked with looking into. You do something called an Ishikawa diagram, which is where you look at all of the causes to your issues, and then you find like the root cause of each of them. And I'd be intrigued to know what the root causes of all of our injuries, particularly our setbacks, are of recent. I think like the very, very recent injuries are all heavily explainable by pure overuse because, we've got so many players out injured, right? Neto Borges, Mark Sykes is one of those, Josh Stokes is one of those, contact injuries, whatever they happen. But yeah, some of them can obviously explained by overuse, but I'm particularly intrigued by the setbacks that we've had amongst the squad. So yeah, I'd hope that the club are looking into that over the international break. I'd be surprised if they weren't. If you were running Bristol City Football Club at the moment, we're obviously not in a transfer window, so bringing in new players isn't a priority. On the pitch, I think things are relatively good. The issue you'd be looking to deal with, I think, is our current medical issues and whatever the root cause of those is. Kind of lost track of where we were with the Watford game. Yeah, second half, both teams had their chances. Obviously, Sinclair Armstrong had a great chance. Could have squared it, could have shot. He shot and missed. And then towards the end of the game, it was one of those where I was thinking, I pray that we hold on for a point. But we were actually kind of attacking them and hitting them quite well on the break towards the end of the game. We obviously had Yu Hirakawa with a good run, beat, I think, a couple of Watford players, slotted the ball across to Emil Rees, who, the ball was terrible and it sort of slowed down the attack. But those are a couple of players that I wanted to focus on because they've not had too much airtime on the channel so far. Those two are Emil Rees and Yu Hirakawa. Emil Rees just looks like he's injured, to be honest. He hasn't been great in the last couple of appearances that he's made, but I genuinely think he's not fully recovered from his injury. And I think 2 weeks off over the international break will give him sufficient time to fully recover, be 100% again, and look like the Emil Rees that we got at the start of the season. That's at least what I'm hoping happens. And Yu Hirakawa, right? He's likeable, isn't he? Because he just always puts in a shift. And you can never deny his work rate in a game. And I think he's pretty good, like his defensive tenacity to probably keep us in a draw in some. Well, I didn't like single-handedly do it, but you know what I mean. He was pretty good against their left winger at times, but the bloke doesn't offer anything in attack, does he? Let's be honest. He had one chance on the break that he missed. He looks a little bit like a rabbit in the headlights at times when he comes onto the pitch. Not too sure what to do from an attacking perspective. So yeah, I'd like to see some improvement from him, particularly, considering we're light on players in the squad at the moment. This is an opportunity for him to get his minutes and improve himself, and get himself some more minutes afterwards. But I don't currently think that I don't feel like he's taken that opportunity fully. Here we got Swansea, obviously, after the break. What other news did we have? Yeah, Mark Sykes and Ross McCrory got called up for their national teams. You can understand the call-up of Ross McCrory to Scotland, right? But Mark Sykes is a bit baffling, considering he was he had a cut on his shin down to the bone in our last game on Tuesday night, and he was called up to the Ireland squad a couple of days later. Baffles me, really. I certainly questioned the professionalism of the Irish FA on Twitter. It was mad. They picked him in the squad after obviously knowing that he would have been injured. So you can only assume that when you get called up to the national team, the gaffer phones you up and tells you you're in the team. And then is he telling the gaffer, sorry, mate, I can't play. Did you see what happened on Tuesday? I got cut on my shin to the bone. Ross McCrory was called up to Scotland, but it looks like he's pulled out of that national team squad. I've tweeted and said on videos and posted a couple of times, I love Ross McCrory. I think he fully deserves his Scotland call-up, and I'd love to see him, get to a World Cup with Scotland and play. But I just didn't think this was the time for him to join the squad with how tired he's been looking on the pitch. I just think he's better off playing the long game. Saying no to Steve Clarke, explaining why, and then, recovering fully to go back again and attack this next run of fixtures with Bristol City. Because ultimately, you get called up for your national team because of club performance, right? And if he plays for Scotland, gets injured, he's not going to be playing for Bristol City and get another call-up. So I think he's playing the long game there, and I respect it. And hopefully the rest of the players can get a good rest over the international break. Like I said, bear with 2 secs. I'm just going to wipe my nose off camera. Like I said, I'm somewhat hopeful that that Jason Knight can come back post-international break. I don't think he's too far off. There's murmurings of Josh Stokes being back soon as well, which is good. Who else? And Pring. People are saying Pring. I'm not too sure about Pring, but some people have been talking about him potentially being back. Jury's out on that. I'm not 100% sure he will be. Anything else to cover quickly? I'm just train, not my train. If anyone's watching, we've got 14 people in here at the moment. Obviously, not going to be a busy stream because I didn't plan it and no one knew it was coming. Got an itchy eye as well. If anyone's got any questions for me, please let me know in the chat. We've got Callum, Mike, hopefully Fally. Oh, God. Fally's frustrating, isn't he? I just don't think he fits the system at all, to be honest. And to be completely honest, I don't think he would suit any team operating in English football, really. I don't think he has the physical attributes to do a job. And I just don't think he's got an eye for goal. I mean, that's like clear. But other than that, you can see, like, I remember listening to the Forever Bristol City podcast. They were talking about him with having an eye for goal. And I saw it when we had that open training session during the summer. The guy has a clear eye for goal. And I think we saw that in the first couple of games he played for us as well. He knows where the goal is and has a second sense, if that's the right word, sixth sense of where the goal is. And that's great. But you need a little bit more than that to operate in a Struber system and to, play for Bristol City in the Championship, I think. So I think his time in the club is done. Sinclair Armstrong has managed to somehow make some sort of miraculous comeback into the fray for Bristol City and actually be useful. I was calling for him to be gone after the Fulham game in the Carabao Cup. I'll be honest, he was just woeful in that game. And I thought, well, he's done. He's not going to be able to do anything to prove me wrong, but he kind of has. Whereas Fanny Mayuli, I mean, you've got to think, he's off in January, isn't he? He doesn't suit the system, doesn't score goals, doesn't do anything for us, really. So he's got to go. Whereas Sinclair Armstrong is on a little bit of a redemption arc for us at the moment. So, Nick is saying love things. He's very likeable, isn't he, when he plays well? Because he just has all the attributes of someone that, you want in a striker. He just looks impossible to handle sort of physically. Haven't seen a single defender really get his number yet or anything like that. He just needs to work on his finishing, which he clearly has done. Obviously, with the goal against Birmingham, proved that he's been doing some sort of work on himself. But, jury's out for me still, I think, on Sinks, but he has done some way to at least prove his worth to the squad and earn himself some minutes. And, exactly. Bald Sinks is the redemption arc. I think that's everything. We've been live for about 10 minutes. And my train is arriving very soon. I think I'm going to go and get myself a cup of tea as well. Maybe a chocolate bar if I can find a shop. I think that sums everything up very nicely. I hope everyone has a good rest of their week. I'm going to try, because it is the international break, so my other YouTube channel isn't so busy. I'm going to try my best to do another Bristol City video Wednesday, Thursday this week. So try and get that out. What I'll do basically is I'll cover the topics I mentioned on this one in a bit more detail. This is a low rent, me holding my phone with no thumbnail, no plan, whatever. we'll do a better video of it in the week. So I hope you can look forward to that. Nick Scott is watching us at Temple Meads. Love it, mate. Well, I'm on my way to Temple Meads, actually. I'm currently at, if you can see that, I'm currently at Reading Station on my way back. So I'll see you there if you're still there in a couple hours' time. But yeah, hope everyone has a good rest of their day and a good rest of their week. I'll try and check in again with a formal video, like I said, sort of Wednesday, Thursday, if I can get something in before work. So I'll see you in a bit.